My name is Kelsey Phillips. I am a softball player. I pitch. I am a fifth year, I guess would be the term, because I graduated in May and got the extra year. So I actually started my master's, and I am in the instructional design and technology program. I mean, the fun classes, there's one that Kenna Reeves teaches. It's called Communication and Reality TV, and that's just like a fun one because we get to relate communication theories into like reality TV shows and just see that like even producers of these shows use what you're learning about. So like that's a really fun one. But I think the one that's had the most impact on me as a person, it was small group communication. And communication used to have a lot of group work, group project, and so again we were broken up into groups, and our group actually did a project around food insecurity, and we collected snack donations that we then donated to Walnut Elementary during their state testing week. And we just did that through various outlets. We set up boxes around the community at like the library and around campus, and then we also went to a basketball game and we collected like different donations that we then were able to use for a raffle for people to donate different things like that. They could either do a cash donation and get tickets, or if they brought food, then they would get a ticket to be put in a drawing. But then that one actually kind of cartwheeled into the EAT initiative. I'm not sure if you're familiar. Yeah, so Dr. Linneberry, she's the professor who teaches small group now. And after, because I think I was her first actual class of small group. And then she obviously taught it again. And there were a couple other groups who did projects surrounding food insecurity. So that kind of led her to do some research into the Emporia community on how big of an issue it is. And that kind of tumbled into the EAT initiative. And I was actually involved with that ever since it started all throughout the rest of my undergrad. And there's just a lot of things that I did, whether it was volunteering or we held the community action workshop where we brought different big leaders in the community together just to talk about what else could be done and what else we can do and how can we help in any way. So that was one that made a big impact on me. We were going to have, because a big percentage of food insecure individuals are actually athletes, and we were going to have EAT initiative ambassadors on each athletic team. So if a teammate felt, not really comfortable going to a pantry by themselves, or they needed to know where resources were and how they could get to them, the ambassador would be like well educated on all the places in Emporia where they could go, and they could even go with them because sometimes you don't want to go necessarily to Dr. Linneberry or an adult or something, and you're much more comfortable going to someone who you play with and you're friends with. So, but yeah, that happened during COVID, so I don't know if it actually ever panned out like it was supposed to. Being an athlete, one thing that I have gotten really involved in, like I said, we do a lot of community service, so we've gotten to meet a lot of community members through athletics, and that's awesome because then you start to form those connections here in Emporia to where it does feel more like your home instead of just like the place you go to school at. Like we've been doing, I don't know if you've seen, it's called, we call it Chalk Talk. We've been going around for COVID as a community service type deal since we've had to adjust what we normally do. And we've been writing with chalk inspirational sayings like, you're awesome, you got this, drawing pictures outside of the elementary schools on like a Thursday night. And then they come to school on Friday and they kind of just see all the inspiration and kind of just get really excited. And it's really awesome to kind of see the impacts. Coach got an email from Walnut Elementary about how the night before when we actually chalked, the next day was their like national walk to school day, and they were trying to figure out ways in which they could make the event more exciting because obviously there were a lot more limitations this year than they usually have. And she said that they wanted to do something along the lines of chalking, but obviously they had parent-teacher conferences the night before, so they couldn't actually just ask all the teachers to do that on top of parent-teacher conferences. So basically they were just like, thank you, this was amazing. And just having that here in Emporia makes you want to be here more, if that makes sense. Just being a part of something special and something bigger than yourself, and just being involved in the community. And I think Emporia is a very involved community. I know all the small businesses, I hear commercials for them on the radio, and there's, support local. And I think throughout COVID, it has just showed how close knit the community is, with each small business leaning on each other for help, and the community going and helping out. And I think that's a big aspect of Emporia, and how Emporia is different than other places. I mean, I don't know, I guess, because I haven't been to other ones, but from what other people say, I just think Emporia is very involved community, and that goes to at the games too. You'll see donors coming and watching the games and cheering you on. They might not even necessarily know you, but you're part of Emporia, so they're important to you.